my holpering announcement. Sorry for being, I was talking in this direction and you've been there.
Yes, I'm supposed to be standing here, so.
I didn't tell the audience how famous you are, how creative you are, what a wonderful guy you are. And now you're on DLD stage again.
Yes.
Thank you for this.
Yes, it's great to be here.
What is driving you?
Curiosity is driving me, most of all. And you know, when I do these things nowadays, I have to assure the audience that it's me standing here. Everybody should have an avatar. When I was asked to do this keynote, I thought to myself that it might be a bit insensitive, even arrogant for a pop star, albeit an elderly one, to come here and talk about seemingly mundane things like problems in the music industry when there's a war raging almost next door. The brave Ukrainians are fighting for freedom. It's a proxy war because they're not only fighting for themselves, they're fighting for us as well. A war that they must win because anything else is unthinkably bad for us. I read a very thought-provoking piece by the American author and journalist Anne Applebaum the other week. She asked this very interesting question. What if a different president had been in the White House? A well-known Putin admirer, perhaps? And what if Zelensky had been killed or had fled? Kiev might really have been conquered in just a few days. And Russian soldiers, strengthened by their stunning victory, could be standing on the borders of Poland. And this disaster would not necessarily have been confined to Europe. Chinese plans to invade Taiwan could be underway because Beijing would assume that an America unwilling to defend a European ally will not defend an island in the Pacific. But none of this happened, thank God. And the legend of Russia's military prowess has been shattered. The democratic world did not collapse, but has instead been strengthened. Zelensky went to Washington recently to thank Americans on behalf of Ukraine. But in truth, it is we who should thank them. I'm sorry I digress, but it's not what I came here to talk about. But I felt I kind of needed to say that. And now to the real reason. Thank you. And now to the real reason why I'm here today, to address an acute problem in the music industry and to present a solution. Yes, what you see here is indeed a black box. That's what we call the place where it all ends up. All the unidentified royalty money that isn't paid out to music creators because of bad metadata. The music industry is a mess when it comes to metadata. Now, I have personally experienced the golden age of copyright, when ABBA could sell their records first as vinyl, then came the not-so-brilliant music cassette. You remember that? And then the CD. And I suppose that explains why we've sold quite a lot of albums through the years. A figure of 400 million is mentioned, and this sounds actually absolutely ridiculous. But Universal Music, our label, insists it's true. So who am I to contest that? I choose to believe it. And after the CD came MP3 downloading. illegal, most of it. It almost killed the music industry. So I guess you could say that Spotify and the other streaming services were saviors. And streaming really offers music creators many fantastic opportunities. But it increases the complexity they have to face. Music is not like the film or book industry, or any other industry for that matter. It's much more complex. So bear with me if I get a little nerdy. I think I need to explain some facts to put you in the picture. So prepare yourself, it's going to be boring. Music is global, but copyright laws are national, and that makes licensing on music very difficult and complicated. An abundance of songs and recording are released every day, as many as 100,000 daily to Spotify last year. And many different parties are involved in the creations of a song or recording. And many different parties are involved with the ownership, licensing, and the collection of money. And this complexity, of course, means that things can and will go wrong at many points in the process, from the writing of the song to the release of the recording. The first data flows from sources like songwriters, producers, performers, and studios. And this information often passes through intermediaries like managers, publishers, labels, and aggregators. And then finally, it reaches hundreds of different systems and databases around the world. For instance, digital service providers like Spotify and collecting societies like GEMA in Germany. And you can imagine how prone to error this process is. For instance, the original information about rights is often spread prematurely when it hasn't been agreed by all stakeholders. One guy remembers he was going to get 25%, but that's not what his co-writers remember. And immediately there's a dispute, and royalties go to the famous black box. It's a mess because there is no single platform that captures and coordinates the ownership data that is needed to process payments. There's an abundance of involved parties, such as songwriters, artists, producers, musicians, managers, publishers, record companies, and collecting societies. And there is no common approach to ensure that all of the data is in order. If there is a single small error anywhere in this information, for example, the song title might be spelled wrongly, then there's a good chance that the contributors will be unidentified and will get neither credit nor royalties. Would any other industry accept this? I don't think so. I've talked to people in fintech and from other industries, and they can't believe what they're hearing. It is so utterly chaotic and outdated. So there are many reasons for why money gets stuck in a system, but there is no verifiable source of how much it is. But there are estimates, many hundreds of millions of dollars each year, money that should have gone to those who create the music. When Benny Andersson and I wrote the songs for ABBA, he was sitting in one room, the two of us, working from 9 to 5 every day. Of course, we never had any problem with metadata. It was always 50-50. We never argue about that. And we still don't, after having worked together since 1966. Amazing, isn't it? But then we're very nice guys.